for I had something to say. Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate. We cannot consecrate. We cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who have fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us here to be so dedicated to the great task remaining before us that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, and that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. You know, I dream often that I am on a ship which is broken loose from its moorings, a ship of which I am the captain, but I can't steer. It seems that in any great contest, both sides claim to be acting in accordance with God's will. But God can't be both for and against the same thing at the same time, can he? God wills this struggle. And he wills that it not end yet. By his mere quiet power, he could have saved or destroyed this union without a human contest. But the contest began, and having begun, continues to achieve some great purpose that we do not fully understand. Louisville Daily Democrat. It is the vacillation and indecision of the president that is the real reason why our armies have not succeeded in the destruction of the enemy. Even members of his cabinet, including Secretary of War Stanton, consider him nothing more than a backwoods fool. Mr. Hay, did Stanton call me a fool? Well, I'd better go and have a talk with him then. Stanton's usually right. You know, when I was a young man, I had only one distinction, which I was inordinately proud. I was the ugliest man in our county. And then I heard that a family moved into the county, and the father of that family, well, he was out to give me a run for my money. Well, what was I going to do? Well, I grabbed a mule and a shotgun. That's what I did. I went out to greet him. And when I found him, he was out plowing like in his field, you see. And I came riding up, and he says, well, that's mighty neighborly of you to come out and greet a new family, but I'm made just a little uneasy by that shotgun, sir. What exactly is your purpose? And I told him, I said, I have always been the ugliest man in this county, and I can see right now you're going to take my place. So I've come out to shoot you. And the feller said, well, I'm beginning to think you ain't so neighborly after all. But the truth is, if I'm uglier than you are, go ahead and shoot. Two Quaker ladies were discussing the end of the war, and one of them says to the other, well, now, who do they think is going to prevail? That's the way they talk. Who do they think is going to prevail? And her friend said, well, I fear it will be Jefferson Davis, the rebel president, as he is a praying man. And her friend said, well, now Abraham is a praying man too, And her friend said, well, yes, I suppose so. But I'm afraid that the good Lord will think that Abraham is only joking.